Imagine, if you will, it's Monday morning and you go into work. Yay! There's a meeting, so you go into the conference room and your boss is there, Dave. Your coworkers come scrambling in. And your boss says, okay, everybody, got a big project today. Today, you are hunting woolly mammoth. Get your spears and go to the southeast. Because the date today is 6000 BC. And you're a member of your tribe's hunting party. You won't be telecommuting today. Now, hunting a mammoth is a big project, but what you have going for you is your team. You have grown up with your coworkers. You've worked with each other your entire lives, and as a result, you're a tight-knit team, capable of taking out a mammoth with little more than sharp sticks and amazing teamwork. Now let's flash forward 8,000 years. It's still Monday morning. Yay! The conference room is nicer. It's got walls. Coffee's better. Your boss is still there, Dave. Coworkers come in. Your boss says, okay, everybody, got a big project for you today. We have to go through a major IT infrastructure upgrade, and you're on the team. And we need this for our company to stay competitive. And if we don't get it right, there might be layoffs. So, question, these two projects, how are they similar? Well, with the first project, you have a slightly higher chance of getting trampled to death. But for both projects, our success, our ability to provide for ourselves and our families depends on the success of our team. But building a successful team is harder now than it has ever been before. In today's hyper-agile, project-driven world, teams forming and then changing and then disbanding only to reform as entirely new teams, that is the norm, not the exception. Instead of growing up with my coworkers, I may hardly even know who they are. I definitely wouldn't trust them with a sharp stick. And yet our livelihoods, our entire project-driven economy, depends on these groups of random people finding some way to work together to build and run the world around us? How on earth are we supposed to do that? Well, I think about this every day because I'm a professional project manager. And my job is to take a random group of people, turn them into a team, and then lead them to fix a problem or to build something new in the world. And over the past 20 years, I've had the privilege of training and coaching hundreds of project leaders and working with organizations to build teams which have gone on to do some pretty amazing things. I also get called in to help out when teams malfunction and it all goes terribly wrong. To put this in context, think back to your least favorite group project at school. You know the one. It's like the worst blind date ever. You're thrust into a situation with people that you may not know, maybe people you don't even like, and you somehow have to find a way to work together or you are all going to fail. No, Todd? Todd's in my team? That is my day every day. And while there's a lot of great material out there about how to build long-term functioning relationships, the reality is we don't have that long. We don't have months or years. We've got to get this done. We've got weeks or days to figure it out. And making it even harder is the fact that you may not even meet the people that are on your team. Some people you work with may never be more to you than a little box on a Zoom call or an email address. So, back to our question. How on earth are we supposed to build an effective team out of people that you may not know, people you may not meet, maybe people that you don't even like? Like, how am I supposed to work with Todd over here? Well, having gone through this process many times, and honestly having gotten it wrong a couple times, I found that the key ingredient is trust. As a leader, you have to get the trust of your team, or, of course, they're not going to follow you. Your team members have to learn how to trust each other, or they're never going to be able to get anything done. And your team, as a whole, has to get the trust of your stakeholders, your executive sponsors, your customers even, or they're not going to be given the resources that they need in order to be successful. And to do that, I've developed a method that I call trust bricks. And that's what I'd like to share with you today. So a trust brick is a way for you to conceptualize your interpersonal interactions. And the way it works is this. Visualize your relationship with another person as a bridge made up of bricks. If you build your relationship with many hundreds or thousands of interlocking bricks, your bridge is strong. It can even withstand having a few bricks crack or break because the bricks left hold it together, giving it integrity. Now let's contrast that with a situation where I try to build my bridge with only one or two monolithic slabs of stone. And however massive they may be, if just one of those few bricks crack or break, the entire bridge can fall down, leaving a huge open chasm. Your relationships work exactly the same way. In this context, each brick in that bridge represents a successful interpersonal transaction, a trust brick. And you make a trust brick when you set an expectation and then you meet that expectation. I say I'm going to do something and then I do it over and over again. Now, over time, with enough repetitions, this creates a cognitive bias in the other person. Kind of an expectation that when I say I'm going to do something, they naturally assume that I'm going to do it because I always have. And if you think of it, that's a very pragmatic way to define trust, right? It's the cognitive bias to believe that I'm going to meet your expectations. And what's neat about this approach towards trust is that you can build it with many small trust bricks, right? Setting and meeting low-stakes expectations like, I will get you that report by Tuesday, or I'll have this fixed before I leave work today. If we do this consistently, I meet many small commitments in conjunction with the few big ones. What this does is it builds a pattern of reliability. Right? I'm building a pattern with that. And what's nice about starting your relationship with many small trust bricks is that's easier for someone that you don't have a lot of trust with yet. It's easier to say to somebody you don't have trust with yet, I will have that document to you by Tuesday, than saying, I will perform open heart surgery on you Tuesday, especially since I'm not a doctor. But what this pattern also does is it builds a resilient relationship, because like our bridge made up of many bricks, when I mess up, when I miss some expectations and break a few bricks, the pattern still holds. My relationship is still there. Which is good because we're all going to screw up. We know it. We're human. And the work we do is hard. And when you do screw up, you miss an expectation, it goes against the pattern. It's cognitively dissonant in the other person in this relationship. They do this unconscious mental math that goes, that was weird. They always meet their commitments. Must be a one-off. And the trust is still there. Contrast that with a relationship where I've invested in no trust bricks. I haven't had those transactions. Maybe I've only spoken with them once or twice, if at all. They don't know me. And so if I miss an expectation with this person, a major expectation, and I've given them no other context from which to judge our relationship, and all they know about me are the couple times I messed up, what are the chances that they're going to trust me after that? Follow my leadership, or have confidence in my decisions? Pretty unlikely. And what are my chances of success with a whole team of people that feel that way about me and each other? Yeah, good luck, right? And so that's what's interesting about building trust like this, one bit at a time, setting and meeting expectations over and over, builds this pattern of reliability which strengthens our trust and acts as a foundation for our relationship. And if you're able to build that trust, you'll find that people are more likely to communicate open and honestly with you, to take your ideas and opinions seriously, follow your leadership, or simply let you do your job. So let's talk practically about how we build trust and how not to. There are 3 main points here. So the first one is this: go out and build your trust bricks. Go out, look for opportunities, interact with people, set and meet expectations. It's really not that difficult. Be on time to your meetings every time. Those are expectations met. When you make a commitment, make sure it's a commitment that you can meet, and then meet it. And then do that over and over again. We're building a pattern of reliability. And you can build that pattern anywhere. I can do it in person. I can do it on the phone. I can do it virtually. I can even meet a commitment by email. Remember that using many small trust bricks helps build that pattern in addition to the big thing. So don't wait for the big commitments to have your interactions. Have many small commitments in between. Also realize that you can help other people build their trust bricks like this. Hey, Todd, when are you going to have that presentation ready for us? And then later, Todd, thank you for having that presentation ready for us today, just as you had committed. It's about setting and meeting expectations. Point number 2. Bricks can be unmade. The same way that consistently setting and meeting expectations builds trust, consistently missing expectations has the opposite effect. Each time you miss an expectation, it's like taking a sledgehammer to your well-constructed bridge. Oh, I was only 10 minutes late. Smash. No one's going to miss the status report this week. Smash. Totally forgot that deliverable. Smash. And if you can't be trusted to meet the small expectations, build the small bricks, who's going to trust you with the big important things? Point number 3 is this. Finally, it's this. It's that bricks are always being made for you and unmade, whether you do it on purpose or not. So remember, this is about setting and meeting expectations. And if you don't set the expectation, an expectation is being set for you. And I can prove it. We're going to do a little experiment right here. Right? Ready? Like, everybody, close your eyes. Close your eyes and pretend that I am Oprah. And I just gave each of you a new car. It's a favorite TEDx today, right? No. All right. And so now visualize your car. Can you see it? The color, those lines. Man, it looks fast. Okay. Open your eyes. Can you still visualize it? The car you visualized, was it a red car? A red sports car? A red Italian sports car? That can fit in your pocket? This is not what you expected? That's not what you visualized? No, because you had Oprah expectations, and I am not Oprah. Right? It's about expectations, remember? And so the lesson is that if you don't set expectations, I didn't tell you what to expect for a car, you set your own expectations. And if someone else is setting their expectations of you, you don't know what that is, so you can't meet it. And that results in broken bricks, broken trust. So make sure you communicate expectations. All right. Now, one other comment about bricks being made for you is that we are social creatures. And when I'm in a public forum like this, and when I set trust, when I build trust and tear down trust, everyone else in that forum, I'm building or breaking trust with every one of them at the same time. Because as they observe me building or breaking trust with somebody, they're learning whether or not they can trust me. So let's talk about trust and the context of projects. which is where we started. We started off talking about trust in that context because projects are interesting in that they're a pressure tester for communications and relationship building. But of course, that's not the only place that this applies. Can these same trust-building techniques, relationship-building techniques, be used with your coworkers, your managers, or your direct reports? Yeah. What about with your teachers, or your students, or your dreaded group projects? Even if you have a Todd, or you are the Todd. I'm usually the Todd, honestly. What about your personal relationships and your friendships? Is this a way to make your personal friendships stronger or inadvertently tear them down? What if you just want a juicy, woolly mammoth burger? Yeah. And finally, maybe especially, does it apply to our families? Yeah, honey, I'll take the trash out later. No, I won't. I totally forgot to text you, and I was supposed to. Yeah, son, I'll definitely make it to your game this time. I promise. You see, all the trust bricks matter to everyone, even the seemingly small ones. When you meet them, and maybe especially when you don't. So the next interaction that you have with a coworker, friend, or family member, think about whether you are building trust or tearing it down, one brick at a time. And the next interaction that you have with somebody, stop and ask yourself, what are you doing? Am I building trust or tearing it down? Thank you.